Howdy folks, in this video we're going to take you through the process of dyeing leather with coffee. We're going to be dyeing a vegetable tan split. This is the belt after it was already dyed. So I'll take you through my process of how I got it to this point from being that color. So enjoy the video and thanks for watching. Okay, so this is the coffee I'm using. Just your basic cheap stuff from Walmart. Cost me $4.44. So I'll let that thing percolate some more and see what happens. Okay, I got my percolator on the stove. I got my that thing filled up to about 3/4 with coffee, and down inside there I got that about half full. So this is going to be some very, very strong coffee, and we'll see what it does to dye leather after it percolates a lot. Okay, so now I'm down in my shop. The leather I'm going to be trying to dye is this gun belt that I made a series of videos on several months ago on how to make one. So I just got an old bread pan here that my wife wasn't using, that she gave me to do this kind of stuff. I didn't steal it. So I just roll the belt up. It's the first time I've ever done this with coffee, so you'll get to find out with me if this is a good idea or if it's dumb. But this belt I made just to make the video on how to make it, so if I completely ruin it, it'll just look very rustic, which is kind of the look I want anyway. So I let this coffee cool down. It boiled for about 45 minutes, and if you drank this stuff, you would be awake for weeks. So I'm going to take a little, get that where you can see a little bit of denatured alcohol, and I'm just going to dump it right on the top of that cup or whatever that would hold the coffee grounds. So it kind of, I'm going to let that strain through there a little bit. Now the alcohol, as I understand, when you buy this is Pro Dye, so it's got the, it's an oil base, but it still has an alcohol carrier, and it's a denatured alcohol carrier. Now, as I understand it, I'm no expert in this, but that alcohol helps it like wick into the leather. So we are going to let that strain a little longer. Pull this out. Set that aside. Now we're just gonna, let's see, just take this, just a dowel. Just gonna mix that in a little bit. By the way, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's the first time I've ever done this, so this may work really good and it may not, but we're gonna find out. See if it even gets, that's what the dowel looks like. So it got darker and it wasn't in there very long. You know, on second thought, I think I can just roll this belt tighter and put it right in the coffee pot. So we'll just maybe. And this was just a vegetable tan split, so there's no top grain. So this is only going to be showing you what it does with just like the rough side. So the entire thing isn't completely submerged in there, but it's pretty close. So dry my hands off here. Let's see if you guys can see down in there. So that's what it looks like. I'm gonna let that sit for a few hours, I think, and then we'll pull it out, let it dry, and see what we think. So I'll probably come back I don't know, I'll let it sit an hour or two, pull it out, see what it looks like, and maybe flip it over and let the other side soak. Kind of going for a rustic look anyway, but hopefully that'll make it look a little more consistent, make it look more like a sweat line than just a bad dye job. Yeah, we'll give that a try. We'll let that sit and soak. I can still hear it bubbling in there, so the leather is wicking that in really good. So hopefully that alcohol will help it. And we'll see what it looks like in a few hours. Okay, so I let that belt set in the coffee pot for about an hour, flipped it over and let it sit for another hour. Since it was rolled up, you can see indentations in this section of the belt from the bullet loops. So that was one thing I hadn't thought of, but apparently that made a difference. Not gonna worry about it because it's not that obvious. It's less obvious in person than it looks on the screen right now. So I let it dry. It's been over 24 hours probably because I had some stuff going on today, but dried pretty nice. It's consistent. There's really no like water looking marks. Really brought out the natural grain of the leather. Again, this is rough on both sides. This is a split. But here's a contrast of natural, undyed, no dye or anything on it. And this is the coffee. So that's what it looks like right now. I am going to put a coat of neat's foot oil on it. That should darken it up a little more yet. But so far, I really like it. I think I'm pretty satisfied. And for the price, it's a really easy way to dye something and make it look a little more professional without changing it a whole lot, but just like I said, making it look more professional and really cheap with your budget. So we'll dye it with neat's foot oil, and then we'll know what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so here's what it looks like after putting a light coat and, well, fairly heavy coat, because my neat's foot oil, it's so cold around here, it's starting to get kind of thick on me. So it's a fairly heavy coat of neat's foot oil, and that's what it looks like when it's wet, and we'll catch you again when it's dry. Okay, so that neat's foot oil I put on about 12 hours ago, maybe a little more, give or take, and it's good and dry. So there's the final result. Now again, this is just a rough out. There's no top grain, so I haven't experimented what dyeing it with coffee will do to that, but I don't think it turned out too bad. I got that real rustic look. One thing I will say, cramming it down on the coffee can like I did, I kind of got ripples in it. It's not as flat as it was before, so it probably would have been a better idea to dump it in a bigger container where you could wind it up something like that, a little looser, rather than having it in that tight ball. But overall, really happy with the way it looks. Yeah, looks pretty good. So here's just a quick contrast again. There's the natural, and there's after it was dyed with the coffee plus neat's foot oil. The neat's foot oil got it a little bit darker, but not that much, but it's still a really nice, like, tan color. So yeah, I think I like it. So that's my first experimentation with dyeing leather with coffee, and thanks for watching.